Hello everybody, Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. You guys are looking amazing. I am feeling amazing because this weekend I was gone Friday. Yeah, feels like forever that I have not been on here, but I was shooting my toys and it was really fun. I tried to do that every month, every few months, just to make sure that I'm still a sharpshooter. I'm a sharpshooter. If you know what a sharpshooter is, let me know down in the comments below. By the way, I have trained several people, a lot of women as well, and there's just a confidence that comes with knowing how to handle a weapon, because when you're alone, if you're jogging or out and about in the city, or you have little ones at home, or you're alone at home, it just gives women that I've trained this confidence boost. Like, they can hold their own ground. They can take care of themselves and their babies if the hubby is away or what have you. So really cool. If you are a male or a female and you like to play with these types of toys, let me know down in the comments if that's something you enjoy. It is like one of my favorite hobbies. So yeah, if you have a similar type of hobby, please let me know. I'd be very curious. So yes, today is going to be a very ADHD video. I literally had 1,000 random ADHD thoughts at work, and I kind of jotted them all down. I'm going to be going through this list, so please bear with me. It's totally in order in my brain, but that means like random thoughts, of course, all connected. Sorry, English is not my first language. Connected to the IDAHO4 case. Before we get started, I want to show you my tea. It is called uña de gato, and it means cat's claw, cat's claws. So this tea is quite bitter, but not like the Chinese tea bitter where it was icky. It's like a more earthy, wet soil bitter, if that makes sense. It's like slightly bitter. Could not be a food person, because I would literally just call everything good, sweet, sour, or bitter. That's it. So this tea is actually being currently studied for Alzheimer's, which is amazing, and I'm hoping that something good comes out of those studies. But it is amazing for, of course, viruses and boosting your immune system. So we can all use an immune system boost. Why not, right? Let's try to keep our intake up. And it is a slight blood thinner. So as with any of these herbs and teas that I talk about, you always want to do your own research, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not. And all these teas could have potentially side effects, especially if you are taking any medications. So I like this tea. It can be a blood thinner. It tastes amazing. It is great for health. Cheers. So good. Before I go on about my random ADHD IDAHO4 thoughts, I wanted to ask you guys if you have seen the picture that I posted. I'm going to be posting it on this thumbnail. It is one that was posted, I believe, March 4th on the U of I Facebook page. So I was totally creeping, and this picture has Mr. Green, a couple other students, which I'm going to blur their faces out because they don't matter, but not in relation to this case. But David Beriochaa and Mr. Green are in this picture. So again, it could be a coincidence, because there seem to be hundreds of coincidences in this case. But it also makes me wonder, is it possible that Mr. Green and David Beriochaa had some sort of connection besides this picture? One could speculate, right? And I just thought it was so odd, because there are literally thousands and thousands of students at this university, but this picture of 4 people, what are the odds that one of them ends up being David Beriochaa along with Mr. Green? I just wanted to share that with you guys, because it's been at the forefront of my mind. Now, a lot of coincidences have been on my mind lately, and I was watching the Brent Kopaka video again, the footage that came out, that was released, where Moscow PD, they were filming everything, right, on their body cams, but Again, contradictions, coincidences. What do you guys think about this? Because the first thing that Moscow PD had allegedly said was that they were at Brent Kopaka's place because he was threatening to shoot his roommates. But if you go watch this body cam, you hear law enforcement say, Brent, we have a search warrant. Now, I don't know about you, but from what I have heard, it takes some time to get a search warrant. And if somebody is threatening to unalive their roommates, that's something where LE would show up immediately, right? Right? Because it's an emergency. So which one is it, Moscow PD? Did you get a search warrant? Or did you go check on these roommates who had supposedly called? So here we have yet another contradiction by Moscow PD. Now, I also was scrolling through social media and I see that Vinny Politan came out with a podcast just a few days ago. And in this podcast, Vinny is literally fawning and boy crushing over Gary Hughes, who supposedly has a lot of experience in these types of cases. But in this podcast, Gary is only giving his opinion on the IDAHO4 and on Bryan Kohberger. And he goes on to say that the person who committed the IDAHO4 crime is likely somebody who planned this to a T and who stalked. But it just makes me wonder, and it's very possible that Gary has zero idea about what he's talking about in relation to this case. Because if he has watched and kept up with this case, he would know that it was mentioned in a hearing that Mr. Kohberger did not stalk any of the victims. So should Gary even be giving his input? Because he has not kept up with the case. So Vinny has put this video out there on YouTube and it is so biased, it is disgusting. And whether Mr. Kohberger is guilty or not, we will find that out when the trial begins, when the evidence comes out. But to put such biased podcast pointing to Kohberger basically being guilty when he has not even been to trial yet, that just makes me wonder, you know, is Bryan Kohberger, if he is not guilty, is he going to sue all these people? Because every day it's people saying he's guilty, he's guilty. That's just how it is. But the problem is that we also have respected people like Gary, who is giving his input on this case, who some people look up to. I'm not a fan, but why are you giving your point of view, sir? Is it not just more intelligent to keep your mouth shut because you obviously have no idea? So maybe they should keep tabs on this case before deciding to open their mouth. And not only that, but also another thought on my mind is, we know that this whole case is just very circus-like. It is messy, it is crazy, it is chaotic. It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, we have Bill Thompson saying that he's wanting to protect Kohberger's rights. Really? Bill Thompson? But when Kohberger was painted as a stalker and potentially creeping on the girls, Bill Thompson did not say anything, right? He wanted to spread misinformation. He wanted to get this PCA throughout Lada County and paint a very specific picture of Mr. Koberger, because that's how they get Moscow PD to view Mr. Koberger in a very specific manner. Meaning what? Meaning guilty. Painting him as guilty from the get-go. That was what Bill Thompson intended to do from the get-go. But then we have him hypocritically stating that he's trying to protect Koberger's trial rights because Ann Taylor is sending this survey. Really? Just what a whiny, freaking evasive, emotional hypocrite, Bill Thompson. And it's like we're watching, it's like we're watching something that's not really happening, right? Does it not feel surreal to you at times? Like, is this real? And there are some people who have said this could be a psyop. And now I'm like, you know what? At this point, this is so insane that I'm like, what in the world is going on? Not to mention, then we have Judge, right? He's supposed to be the judge. He's supposed to be knowledgeable, cool, calm, collected. But instead, we have somebody who can't control himself, much less his courtroom, sit there grinning like a complete idiot. By the way, we know that he does not have experience in this type of case. So we also understand that he is biased. I mean, in the last few hearings, that has really come across. So moving the case to another county that may not be as biased, would that even help, considering we now know that the judge is biased? Again, reminder people, this is a case where Mr. Koberger's life is on the line. But we have a judge who sits there smirking and says things like, I was being sarcastic. Do we just not all agree that we need a new judge as well? Because I know that if I was Mr. Koberger and I was sitting there being accused of unaliving 4 people, and I see a judge that is acting a fool, I don't want him to be my judge. Why? Because the bias is completely obvious. Let me know if you agree with that. Do you think that Judge is not only unintelligent and can't control himself, but he's obviously heavily biased? So I want to see you guys in the comment section. Again, this was a very ADHD video. So, by the way, people are still saying that they can't believe that this trial is taking so long. Oh my God, the trial, the families. Look, I understand. Of course, the families are suffering. Of course. They lost their beautiful children. Hello. Please be respectful towards the parents. Again, who are we to judge how these parents choose to heal? They're healing. They are still trying to heal. But it's unfortunate that this trial is taking a while, but it is not an abnormal amount of time for this type of case. I know that if it was one of you guys being accused of unaliving 4 people, whether you did it or not, you would want to be treated fairly. And again, if you are not American, maybe you do not understand, or if maybe you are American and you just don't know the law, then you need to educate yourself on it. Because why? Because our court system and our laws say what? That everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And because Mr. Koberger has yet to be proven guilty, well, then he is innocent. So set your bias aside. Yeah, I know it is more difficult for very emotional people to do so, but try to be analytical and try to wait until the evidence comes out. So, very weird. I still go back to thinking of that picture of David Beriochaa and Mr. Green. Mr. Green, thanks. Every time I think of Mr. Green, I just imagine him like swimming in green dollar bills. And David Beriochaa, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about him. Obviously not too fond of him. I don't know him, but the pictures I have seen with him, with David Loesch, who, yeah, we're not gonna get into David Loesch today. I don't have the energy for David Loesch today. But this is why I always remind people, my students, my colleagues, my family, you guys, you are a sum of the people, they say the 5 people that you hang out with the most. I am very curious to know who David Beriochaa hangs out with the most. What type of people did he party with? Again, lots of pictures with David B and David L. So that can give us some insight into maybe the type of person that he is like. And be very cautious who you hang out with. It is very easy to start acting and to start thinking like people who may not be good influences. And this, by the way, is not something that affects only teenagers or growing children. This affects adults. I have seen good people who fall prey to other people, powerful people at work who have this energy that draws them right in, and then they turn into that person, into bullies, into liars, into thieves. It happens even to adults. Yeah, it's a damn shame, but apparently most people are very easily manipulated. They are very easily influenced. So pick your friends, people you talk to with very carefully. And that's it for today. Just some life advice. By the way, thank you guys for the donations for the veteran, Mr. Craig. So far, there's about $85, I believe. I'll have to go tally that up. You guys have a good day. Take care. Thank you. Keep donating. We got this.